Hi, I am Osman, and today I want to talk about my opinion on Advaita philosophy of yogic sciences, where people go into deep, analysis of who is I and who is you, and what is creation, dual, non-dual, and it's very complex arguments, and it goes into high complexities, and I believe this is, you know, not something that you should spend a lot of time stressing on, and it could lead to insanity. Going into levels of arguments and confusion, and it's going to get you nowhere. I believe, right? My opinion, right? So, and why? Because I've studied this deeply as well, right? So, just to introduce myself and do the formalities of video for YouTube requirements, I am Osman. I am energy healer on a master level with telepathic capabilities and specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, and also a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments, especially treating the adverse effects of involuntary Kundalini awakening. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing yoga for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. And in that period, studied under various schools of thought and masters, and created my own um, easier, simpler, quicker, more effective protocol, combining my knowledge that I've gathered from everything, and more practical for the 21st century. And as a result, our country now have students in over 100 countries worldwide. And if you want more information about my services, visit my website, yogawellness786.com. And also understand my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical therapy. So coming back to Advaita Yoga, so the best way from English speaking perspective and a Western thought perspective, I would recommend, from my side, I'm not getting any commission, or I'm not an affiliate for any of these, is when what I studied is the lectures, collection of lectures of Swami Vivekananda, who was a proponent of Advaita philosophy. And his lectures dealt mainly with the theme of Advaita philosophy, and is published in 9 volumes, right? So search for the 9 volume edition, of Swami Vivekananda's teachings. I don't know exactly what's the name of those books, because it's been many decades since, I think almost 3 decades since I, spent time going through it. But to give you some background information into it, um, I've experienced enlightenment or samadhi, right? Samadhi, let's use samadhi, because enlightenment means I know everything. I don't know anything, I would say. Relative to what there is to know, I know nothing. It's just my view. So I've experienced samadhi about 5 times or more, right? Minimum 5 times that I, recall this thing very vividly, that experience, overwhelming experience, that floorboarded me. And uh, also into yoga and meditation, study of the science from childhood, from my age of 10, deeply going into the uh, deep philosophical and scientific analysis of the broad spectrum of yoga, right? Because yoga is not just the postures, right? Including the postures, including meditation, including, the kriyas, the mudras, the bandhas, the philosophies, and the concept of God, and the Puranas, and the Upanishads, and the Rig Veda, and also not only Vedanta, Siddhanta, and religious studies, alternative religious studying, Buddhism and Christianity and all. So I'm very passionate about all these different levels of study. And when I studied this 9 volume edition, I'm using my background as a precursor for what I'm about to say, right? Um, so I went through it, and they say in the preface that many aspects in those, it's just lectures that are recorded, what Swami Vivekananda spoke, and many things that he spoke of till today, or the date of publication of the book, no one understood. many of the things that he was speaking about. But because I had the experience of the highest levels of yoga, right? So when he spoke of anything, I understood exactly what he was speaking about, the things that people were confused about. And I went from cover to cover, all 9 volumes, and I even went out and did my own commentary on it, but I didn't want to publish it because I didn't feel I'm any authority figure that is deserving, because I didn't have any credentials, like he had to publish it, nor did I have any sanction from anywhere. But the fact that I could, I should have, but I didn't want to. Now I don't want to go into it, right? So recently I was hearing talks, especially there was a lecture with Kundalini Yoga, right? And this group of people were questioning someone who was a lady, um, and her name is Maya, right? But people refer to her as Maya, right? She talks on Kundalini Yoga and so forth. And if you listen to her talks, she's very knowledgeable. So they were asking philosophical questions on I and the construct of this thing, and they went into deep analysis. So someone from, I think, Poland or Germany, right, who was very passionate about this and went into it, and he was like confused about certain aspects, and she clarified it. She understood and very clearly and clarified. When you listen to the question itself, it is like mind gymnastics, right? And I've been away from it for so long, and when I came to it, because I've simplified my protocols, the bottom line is, what is the result, right? You're going to spend years and years going into these philosophies, and you want results. So me, I focus on adapting my protocols and creating a shorter, quicker, faster, effective, where you're getting a result. My students, not uncommon for my students to have an out of body experience within 1 to 2 days. And it's not uncommon for my students to reach the breathless state in within a 12-month period. When I say not uncommon, means, generally for people to reach the breathless state is almost impossible. There's so many people practicing 10 hours a day for 50 years and making haven't been able to reach the breathless state, where you no longer need to breathe. You're so calm and peace, and you can feel your breath has completely stopped. Your heart is stopped, your breathing stopped, and you in the state of oneness and tranquility without breathing, right? So those who are reaching that, they're breathing very softly, but not breathless, not non-breath, right? This is a very advanced level. And my students who's reaching that is people never knew what is yoga, right? From Western countries, Caucasian people, blonde hair, blue eyes, this type of people, right? Not from an Indian background or Far East background or Buddhist background, coming from regular lifestyle, right? Doing for the first time. Countries like France, Germany, Poland, Australia, UK, US, right? Various countries, right? Italy, right? And giving them these things without going into who is I, who is you, and who is, there is no I, and what is the, this, and what is that, and thou that, and not this, not this, not this, netty, 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 and all these things. And oh my God, yes, I went through it, and it helped to shape my mindset and so forth, and it like satisfied a certain level. But life is not so complicated and simple. It's much more simpler, and there are simpler ways. And it is, I believe, wasting your time. You can go into decades, you know getting lost in these arguments and philosophies. There's so many volumes and so many different types of philosophies that you can analyze the differences between them, and so many levels of confusion that you need to work through, and gain that understanding of or a type of understanding of the construct, and yet they're not coming to the result, right? Very difficult. So I would say, warning against that. I would not recommend it, right? Jnana yoga, yes, is part of the yoga system. You need to acquire knowledge, and you need to have some knowledge of these things, but not necessary for a result. It's not a result. Currently, why I'm talking negatively on it is because people don't have time, right? There is no time They are so busy. I recently met someone who is a teacher, right, who finishes school in half the day because school ends, right? But they say they're still busy. They have to do preparation and this and that, and they're busy. They're busy in the weekend. They got no time, no time. They don't even have. I said, no, it's not no time. You're not managing your time properly. You need to learn how to manage your time and learn to prioritize and have a balance in your life, right? That is lacking in today's society in the 21st century in 2025, right? Balance is lacking. People don't have time for the loved ones, for the children, to talk to them, to go and play in the playground and enjoy some sport, play volleyball, go to the gym, exercise, take time out for meditation, mindfulness practice, do some yoga, do some breath work, you know, go for a walk in nature, listen to the birds chirping. They forgot that the birds exist. Right? Birds are chirping every day. They forgot it exists. The mind is so absorbed. Have some balance in your life. And because people, generally speaking, is so busy, there's no time to go into a subject matter that is endless. Right? If you're going to go into that, it's going to take so. Do you have the time for it? Right? Do you have 20, 30, 40, 50 years, to spend in analyzing the different sides of it and the versions of it and so forth, right? So be careful and balance your time, right? I'm not saying don't do it, right? Although I don't recommend it, right? It's a recommendation and forbidding is two different things, right? Not recommending. I'm not forbidding it because myself I went through it and it enriched me. But try to balance yourself and I don't think it's necessary for the advancement in what wants to achieve through yoga, self-development, and increasing your consciousness and your full potential as a human from a 10 to 20% brain capacity to 100% brain capacity, to awaken that so that you become more effective and functional, and try to do it as young as possible so that you don't waste the decades of your life doing things through very very inefficient methods. You'll find more efficient methods and live your life much more expansively and fulfilling yourself in a more efficient manner, and doing things much more time efficiently, and be able to balance and enjoy all aspects of your life, right? So I hope that information helps you, and take care of yourself always.